Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into one of the most insane character journeys ever put to page. Look, we've all had tough jobs, but our main character, Kazuya, he is the ultimate overworked corporate slave. Before he ever sets foot in a fantasy world, his daily grind involves zero respect, grueling hours, and those unpayable, soul-crushing wages handed out by a boss who literally works him into an early grave. I mean, his heart finally just gives out under the immense pressure of his deadlines, and he drops dead. But hey, in the world of manhwa, death is really just the starting line.
So, what happens when you die from overwork? You'd think he'd get a peaceful afterlife, right? Well, instead, Kazuya gets shoved through a portal and dropped straight out of the sky under the Caraville continent. And he doesn't land in some cozy, peaceful starter village. No way. He drops right into the middle of a brutal, apocalyptic city siege. Humanity's last fort is actively being crushed by a demonic army of 100,000 monsters. Now, Kazuya expects to whip out some overpowered hero skills, but he quickly realizes he has absolutely none. Nothing. So to survive the terrifying demon lord who is effortlessly slaughtering humanity's strongest fighter right in front of him, Kazuya drops to his knees, turns into a literal dog, and starts barking to pledge his absolute loyalty.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the absolute bombshell of a lore twist Kazuya notices right before surrendering. The revered goddess of humanity, Omiru, the very deity who supposedly sent him to save the world, and the terrifying, humanity-crushing demon lord, they share the exact same face. It's a completely mind-bending revelation. Kazuya instantly realizes the whole hero gig is a totally rigged game, and honestly, that's exactly why he decides to just throw away his human pride and bark like a dog to stay alive. But you might be wondering, how did he even end up in this specific predicament with the goddess in the first place?
Well, a shocking flashback reveals exactly how Kazuya ended up in this mess. Before dropping him into the world, Goddess Omiru reveals her true plan. Kazuya is just a sacrificial pawn. He's meant to literally burn his own life away to summon heroes. Refusing to let yet another boss dictate his life, Kazuya completely snaps. He takes this paralyzing alcohol the goddess actually gave him to use on the demon lord, smashes the bottle over her own head, and brutally forces it down her throat. He literally assassinates a deity to save his own life. Actually, scratch that, it's more like a desperate act of rebellion, but it perfectly explains why he's so fiercely desperate to survive when he meets the demon lord later.
So fast forward, and Kazuya is applying his deeply ingrained corporate survival instincts to the demon world. And it works. He goes from literally eating out of a dog bowl on day 1 to outperforming every single other beast in the demon lord's army by day 30. His sheer dedication to the grind earns him a promotion to the elite royal military dogs. Then, the demon lord, who's kind of amused and oddly trusting of this completely neutral dog, promotes him to captain of the tax department by day 45. It's a hilarious, lightning-fast climb up the corporate ladder. I mean, humanity took 45,000 years to evolve, and Kazuya did it in 45 days.
Of course, climbing the ladder that fast paints a massive target on your back. Enter Grafino. He's this corrupt elven noble who traps Kazuya and tries to execute him for basically taking his job. But Kazuya is completely done being bullied. He brilliantly leverages his authority as the demon lord's favorite pet to just rage bait Grafino's guards. Showing off some insane observation hockey, he dodges point-blank gunfire, beats the guards down, and literally barks to summon his former squad, the elite royal military dogs, who instantly rush to his rescue. And to completely crush this workplace harassment once and for all, Kazuya asserts ultimate dominance by publicly shaving Grafino's head completely bald. What a power move.
Just as Kazuya is finally enjoying his victory and, picking his nose in peace, the sky literally tears open. A colossal divine eye named Antiphon appears, freezing time itself. The heavenly manager has finally arrived to punish Kazuya for the brutal murder of Goddess Omiru. The stakes just skyrocket in a cinematic flash. Kazuya is thinking he's an absolute goner, but the demon lord, who is somehow immune to the time freeze, steps right in and violently clashes with Antiphon, literally shattering the sky. Antiphon is forced to retreat, but the clash leaves Kazuya's brand new tax office utterly obliterated.
In the aftermath of all that chaos, Kazuya unwittingly becomes a pawn in another corporate ladder. So the crucial point is this number, 145,200. This represents the contribution points of Lord Esteto, a powerful second-generation demon chief who secretly backed that corrupt Grafino guy. Esteto desperately wants to become a pure-blooded king forger, but he needs exactly 10,000 more points to cross the threshold. Seeing Kazuya as a prime target to gain favor with higher-ups and earn those exact points, Esteto slaps a massive secret bounty right on Kazuya's head.
And this bounty, it triggers an absolute nightmare for our protagonist Kazuya. Along with his genetically modified cyborg bodyguard, FF1, gets ambushed in this remote stone quarry. The sky practically rains enemies, but we aren't talking about your average mercenaries here. It's the legendary, world-renowned assassin AIM, accompanied by his elite top 7 students. They drop right in to claim the 100,000 gold coin bounty and Kazuya's life.
What follows is just a rapid-fire, chaotic blitz of pure action. FF1 goes into full Terminator mode to protect his captain. He literally slaughters a 100-man wave with his bare hands. But AIM's top students, they are complete freaks of nature. The number 4 student, a sumo wrestler with a steel body, casually deflects bullets. Number 5 slices FF1's weapon cleanly in half. And just when you think a target is finally down, number 1 regenerates from a deadly blast and rushes FF1 with dynamite. FF1 is forced to use his forbidden annihilation beams just to keep them at bay.
To put into perspective why this fight is so hopelessly one-sided, we have to talk about the power scaling here. In this universe, a level 50 entity represents a terrifying threshold where combat abilities explode entirely past human limits. It grants crazy supernatural traits like flight, invulnerability, and instant regeneration. Both AIM and his hidden number 8 student are above level 50. They are practically unbeatable forces of nature, which makes Kazuya and FF1's survival look mathematically impossible.
But as crazy as it sounds, this seemingly impossible situation was actually accounted for in a brilliant 250-year-old master plan. It was set up by humanity's strongest hero, Raphael. Using Future Sight, Raphael foresaw Kazuya's exact predicament centuries before Kazuya was even born. He ordered his student Edward to bury ancient relics in a specific set of instructions right there in that very quarry. Right in the middle of the battle, Kazuya finds the box, reads the prophecy, and points his gun at an empty spot in the air, which happens to be exactly where the assassins jump just seconds later. It's like a giant puzzle falling perfectly into place.
And as if the battle couldn't get any more insane, we are hit with a massive twist. AIM the assassin, totally fake identity. He's actually Drax, the exiled first director of the tax office, who somehow survived for 350 years. Drax was originally a king forger who led 8,000 demons to their deaths and got exiled by the demon lord for it. He infiltrated humanity, built an assassin school from the ground up, and destroyed their heroes from the inside out, all just to regain his mother's favor.
And Drax, he is truly, utterly evil to the core. To make sure he slaughters Kazuya and FF1, Drax completely escalates the situation by violently betraying his own loyal assassin students right there on the battlefield. Using these terrifying demonic vines, he pierces their bodies and just absorbs their life force. This horrific act lets him grow back his demonic horns, regain his unstoppable King Forger strength, and literally create a sacrificial circle using their bodies so he can inherit all of their unique superpowers instantly.
Faced with an unstoppable demonic god, the story really grounds itself in pure emotion here. FF1, Kazuya's cyborg bodyguard, calculates the odds and realizes they just can't win. Having finally found a captain who actually treats him like a human rather than disposable trash, FF1 decides to sacrifice himself. He overloads his final annihilation beam, using it as a jet propulsion system to fly Kazuya to the safety of the city. As they crash land, FF1 delivers this heartbreaking line. If you want to become the Demon King, you shouldn't always be this kind. He gives Kazuya a thumbs up and permanently shuts down.
Seeing his only real friend die, it absolutely breaks Kazuya. He completely snaps, overriding every single ounce of cowardice he ever had. Pure, blinding rage takes over. He activates the Forbidden Goddess Summoning Ritual at absolute maximum power, a move that literally starts tearing his own body apart from the inside. Completely driven by fury, he speed blitzes the King Forger, punching Drax straight through concrete buildings, completely shattering his own arm on impact. And then, he summons the legendary Holy Sword, unleashing an attack so devastating it literally obliterates half the town.
But Kazuya's mortal body simply cannot contain that much divine power, and his cells literally burst open. And this brilliantly illustrates the Avengers-level arrival of humanity's greatest past heroes. The Ultimate Strike Team is resurrected right in the middle of the demon capital. We get Ares the Immortal Shield, Vera the Goddess of All Magic, Karin the Wanderer of the Stars, Ares the Lord of the Sky, and leading them all, Raphael, humanity's strongest hero. Sensing this immense, world-ending threat, the King Forgers rush toward the city to protect their mother, the Demon Lord.
But Raphael's resolve is absolute, stating, "If defeating the Demon Lord means sacrificing my own life, I won't hesitate to lay it down." Raphael uses forbidden blood arts. He sacrifices the remaining unformed hero embryos to create a massive, impenetrable dimensional seal around the entire city. He completely cuts off the Demon Lord from her King Forger reinforcements, trapping her in a one-on-one apocalyptic duel.
But hey, the Demon Lord didn't conquer the entire world by being weak. Just as Raphael moves in for the final, meticulously calculated strike, the Demon Lord just smiles. She unleashes a power she somehow kept hidden from Raphael's future sight, the Gaia Force. With a single gesture, she completely freezes the flow of time across the entire world. Raphael is locked in place, utterly helpless, as the Demon Lord casually walks up to him, entirely rewriting the rules of the battle in a split second.
Meanwhile, what happened to Kazuya? Well, because his physical body burst open to summon the heroes, his soul arrives at the heavenly cloud fort. There, he gets violently tortured by the vengeful ghost of the very goddess Omiro he murdered earlier. But Kazuya finally accepts the weight of his actions. He stops running from his guilt. Seeing this ultimate character growth, the divine manager Antiphon steps back in. In a bizarre, agonizing cosmic surgery, Antiphon physically switches Kazuya and Omiru's brains and souls. This effectively grants Kazuya actual literal godhood, making him the new dimension manager.
I mean, Kazuya's journey is nothing short of unbelievable. He started as a powerless, bullied corporate bottom feeder who literally worked himself to death. He reincarnated with zero powers, became a barking dog just to survive, fought his way up a demonic corporate ladder, raged against corrupt management, and sacrificed everything to avenge a true friend. And now, he has transcended mortality entirely to become Kazuya, the Dimension Manager, a literal god overseeing the whole realm.
So, this leaves us with an absolutely massive cliffhanger. With Kazuya ascending to literal godhood up in the heavens, and the terrifying Demon Lord freezing time on Earth to casually dismantle humanity's greatest hero, who will actually survive this final cataclysmic clash? The board is set for a battle that will literally shatter dimensions. That's all we have for today's explainer, but let me tell you, this story is far from over. Keep your eyes peeled because you definitely won't want to miss what happens next.